Treant Protector is still available. I mean, one of the things to point out is that Talon, they did give them Lina plus Treant. This combo has been, I'd say, figured out how strong it is in the lane, how well it scales into the mid and late game. So a bit surprised that Talon decided to give it away.
Yeah, now opting to ban the Lina rather than the Timbersaw, so that is still in the pool potentially for Whisper later down the line, but absolutely worthy of a first phase ban there on the Lina for them. And moving into the second phase of bans, Pango and Puck, two of the very popular heroes, especially for the mid lane, for Mikoto being removed out. And you were saying Pango, what is he, out of 9 games? He's got 8 wins, something along those lines?
Yeah, let's just refresh in case something happened. Okay, so he lost another game while we were talking the last time about him an hour ago.
Still looking very hot, so a sound ban there. Mirana banned out by Talon now, so a little bit of aiming towards Matthew. Maybe see the Hoodwink ban later on as well, but it's a little more difficult with Rubik picked up. This could be the 5 or the 4. You're never quite sure where he's heading. Primal Beast, an interesting one. I guess he's pretty good against Nature's Prophet in lane. Very, very tanky, can get on top of the Prophet, trample down the Treants.
Yeah, you always have something against Nature's Prophet pre-BKB where you can charge on him. You can find him in the trees where he's trying to hide. They also did ban out Mirana. Good setup with the Naga Siren, like either sleep or net in the arrow combo. Even with the Rubik, you could still go for this type of a play. On the other side, the EG, they are banning out Pango that you mentioned, Puck and Ember Spirit, so most likely this Naga Siren is going to be a core here. So looking for some heroes for Talon to be picked up against the Naga Siren. Still Lashrak available if they want to run it. Nature's Prophet also a hero that does okay in terms of the itemization and in terms of his skills. So Wrath of Nature, you can build the Aghanim Scepter, you can go for the Gleipnir, Maelstrom. These items are very good. This time around Talon will ban out Timbersaw in the second phase. Yeah. When you play against Whisper, you have to do it.
You really do. You really do. He's a terror on that hero. And Ricky, first Ricky that I've cast this tournament. I saw, a ton of it. We saw it across all regions. A load of this little nasty devil. And coming in here, going to be, a nuisance when he gets the shard. 15 minutes or so into the game. Going to be setting up for the potential for Nature's Prophet to TP, Tusk to blink onto heroes. As EG deciding to respond to that with their saving grace, the Treant again. So very likely going to be the Rubik 4, Treant 5. And we start to now look towards the pairings with the Rubik. What do we give to Whisper? Again, the thoughts around the Centaur and heroes like that to be the big tanky bullies in the lane that can deal with the Nature's Prophet Treants nicely.
Oh, they're going to snatch this Lashrak. I like what EG just did, because this hero has pretty much everything. This hero scales really well. Bloodstone Carrier. When we had the patch, when we nerfed the Bloodstone, I thought it's going to be something massive. That didn't happen. But Lashrak still very popular. Against certain teams, you have to ban out this hero. I think Gaming Gladiators is the first one that comes to my mind. Quinn just excels at the hero. And now you have a hero that can move around the map. He can buy time. You have Treant Protector to play with him with the Living Armor. Sometimes any kind of buff that Lashrak can receive to put him to an edge where an extra some kind of a heal. So a mech could sustain him enough for his Bloodstone to come off cooldown, and then if you don't have enough damage to kill Lashrak, so they need to figure out how they're gonna approach this Naga Siren. Okay, that's damage. That's damage. That's the burst damage that they needed against Lashrak. He can keep the distance. Looking at the heroes from EG, they don't have the best heroes to find this Zeus. He can also find Treant Protector in the jungle, which is always going to be nasty. So, looking good. I don't mind the Zeus pick, and it also gives you a bit more global presence. So, imagine Ricky 15 minutes, 20 minutes into the game with Shard roaming around, Sleeping Dart into Nature's Prophet, deeping in one snowball. So, it's relatively easy to execute with what Talon drafted for themselves.
Yeah, it looks pretty good for Talon. Tower damage from Prophet, magic damage and team fight from the Zeus and the Tusk. E.g., a similar story, I'd say. Lots of setup with Overgrowth, Song, Telekinesis, split damage, magic and physical between Lesh and Naga. I would like to see E.g. go for one of these kind of Dawnbreaker heroes that either has the maneuverability across the map through the Solar Guardian for Dawn, who's banned, or Centaur's Stampede. But more importantly, I want that intermediary stun. Like, okay, you're going to Overgrowth, you're going to Song, but I want something to follow through onto that so Lesh and Naga can output their damage as they'd want to.
They banned out Bloodseeker. I also wouldn't mind seeing... If this Nature's Prophet is on the off lane, I think Drow Ranger's the hero that works out really well, because EG, they don't have the heroes that can get close and just close the gap on this Drow. They might be a bit squishy, I would say, with Zeus and the Drow Ranger, but Drow Ranger with Shard deals well with Naga Siren Illusions. You have this Hypothermia, works well against Treant Protector and Leshrac. So if Talon still have a couple of options left where they can put Nature's Prophet as their carry and then have something different from the offlane.
What does the Snapfire ban tell you? Because that's quite a curious one for me. E.g. banning Snap.
Huh.
Like, is there a way they can move their heroes around to fit
Well,
a
it could be
Snapfire
offlane
in?
Snapfire. I don't mind
Yeah.
that. We've seen Team Liquid play it yesterday, and Zai was godlike. It's the Aura Buyer, but it also a hero that deals a lot of damage. You have heroes to play with, especially Tusk, where you Shard, Snowball, punch enough time for kisses to actually land.
I'm wondering, what about a Mars for Whisper? Hasn't been the most popular hero in the past couple of months, but it's definitely one of his go-tos for that additional team fight, a bit of catch, and the blink ability to get on top of Prophet and Zeus. Mars Rubik's not a bad lane either.
I'm always down for some Whisper Mars. Looking at some of the other options that they could potentially go for. You did mention a Centaur, so you can close the gap, find the Zeus in the backlines. Rubik plus a Centaur lane. A lane that always has a kill threat, so I wouldn't mind seeing that. If you want to buy... you still don't know where this Nature's Prophet is going, so if you pick blindly, something like a Tidehunter, which is an Aura Builder, Mech, Guardian Greaves against these heroes could work out well, but then they could respond with something like Monkey King, which 23 definitely loves to play.
What's happened to Beastmaster? I've just seen him on your screen and realized that when I have seen him recently, he's looked very good, but he doesn't seem like a high priority hero anymore.
For some teams, I would say it does. I don't know, team like Tundra, they would definitely pick it up in a situation where it looks good, like when you want to have a better vision, if you want to hit the timing with the Helm of the Overlord, like if the heroes can't kill the creep, it's still a good option, I would say, here.
Ooh.
Definitely not expected.
That ticks all the boxes, though, doesn't it? Gap close, the ability to get on top of Prophet and Zeus.
Okay, it makes a lot of sense, though.
Not your normal Aura Buyer from the offlane.
No, imagine Spirit Breaker running around with Guardian Greaves. He's like, yeah, I'm getting ganked, and then he charges the guy, gets the mech in time.
You have a shovel, right, with a kobold. You keep a kobold chasing you so you can charge onto it. And a punch for Talon. Here we go.
I forgot about this hero. This hero deals really well with Naga Siren and this is actually the best pick they could go. Sometimes I just forget about this hero, that this is a carry hero.
Yeah, exactly.
So against Naga Siren, you hit the timing with the Ags. You're never going to feel threatened from the illusions because you can always instantly clear them. Against Treant Protector, reducing the healing. Against Leshrac and the Bloodstone. Big fan of this Pudge.
Yeah, huge pick. Naturally buying Hood and BKB against the Lesh magic damage. Yeah, not a target that wait, hang on, it's a Sea-Smile Spirit Breaker.
And Whisper Leshrac.
And a Whisper Lesh. So Pakaz on the Naga there, so mid Spirit Breaker. I mean, Whisper Lesh isn't a massive surprise. That was one of the heroes 2 or 3 seasons ago. He was destroying people. And he was actually buying Arcane's mech pipe on Lesh back then, like 2.5 years ago. Before, it's a hipster.
If he wants to scale better, I also don't mind off-lane Leshrac going for the Bloodstone. Like, maybe you want to get the mech Guardian Greaves and then go back for the Bloodstone. I wouldn't mind seeing that, but also considering that he's playing into Pudge, you know that this healing reduction is going to come out, he just might settle with the mech.
Yeah, might do. And Matthew Rubik Panda on the Treant. Looks pretty solid there for Evil Geniuses. The big question mark is going to be the C-Smile Spirit Breaker. You know, itemization-wise, how he actually pivots from the mid lane. Definitely fits his playstyle and his role very well. Again, very active player, wants to be involved from an early stage. But is this the kind of Phase Boots Aghanims, you know, with the Kaya Yasha? What does he want for Spirit Breaker? Early BKB as a potential?
I think he might just go for the Ags, but if he... I mean, you're playing a mid-Spirit Breaker, so... I wouldn't mind seeing something like BKB that you mentioned, because there's so many... Like you can get hooked, you can get punched. These abilities still go through Magic Immunity, but there's also a lot of things that could like stop your charge. Like even like post 15 minutes, Ricky with the shard.
Yeah.
This is gonna be Q Tusk starting with Great Band. Very interesting build.
Oh, so he is. I mean, we've seen these Wraith Bands on a number of heroes. I don't think the item in its own right is that weird, but starting with it, you know, no Windlace, no boots, no additional regen, full on buying the Wraith Band there. And is that in particular against the Naga Siren with her minus armor? I'm not entirely sure. For now, though, Talon sat out, camping in the mid lane, trying to see if anybody's coming with any vision, observer wards. But yeah, as usual, we see against Treant, against Nature's Prophet, against Naga Siren, people putting these high ground wards rather.
One thing I'm concerned about is Talon's safe lane, where you have Ricky as your position 5, so this is not a strong lane by any means. Like we saw Liquid, we saw Gaming Gladiators, they do love to play Crystal Maiden plus Pudge, which is a strong lane. But Ricky, you don't have a hook setup, but you don't need a hook setup if you land hook like that. Whisper already down to half HP from that hook.
Yeah, Pakan's down bottom as well, taking a bit of a beating from Jabs and Ollie, but he got the bounty rune. Pakaz and Panda getting one apiece, Panda getting the third one of the game. So slight advantage going the way of EG as the creeps start to meet across the map. 23 being held away from the lane currently. Leech Seed level 1 for Panda, giving him a very good situation. I don't know, he's not really trading, he's just battering people. Not a nice find for Ollie in 23 so far, and that'll give Whisper the little leg up that he needs.
EG decided to swap things around. They will put Matthew here on the bottom lane against the Nature's Prophet and Treant. Because if you play Treant and Nature's Prophet uses Nature's Call, he just kills you and summons the Treants instantly. It's one of the interactions, one of the Easter eggs in Dota.
Along with the frogs in the trees.
I remember the froggies.
Yeah, you go around hunting them all. Open up the shop in the bottom right-hand corner, get the gambler going. Yeah, you've also got Fadebolt from the Rubik to help out against Treant, which is super nice. Yeah, so far that top lane looking pretty sad for Talon. Burning through a lot of regen early on, and not much that Ollie can really accomplish. So both of them sat at around 30% health, while Whisper pretty much free farms in this first minute and a half of gameplay.
It's going to be a difficult lane. I'm not sure. Like, if they die once or twice, it's going to be very difficult to salvage the lane. Ricky just doesn't have enough. Like, you see the hook on Panda, but he just punches back. 23 farming underneath the tower. And Whisper, he's level 2, does have a point in Edict.
I'll take that.
Playing into 2 melee heroes, so no surprise if he's taking a point in early Edict. If they isolate Pudge, this is going to be a lane where I don't think Pudge is going to, like, as soon as they hit level 2, level 3 on their heroes on EG's off lane, things are going to be very difficult for 23 to try to get some farm right now. Like, you also don't want to buy regen on Pudge. You want to look for that Ring of Health, and Ricky doesn't have any regen left. He's bringing some tangos with the courier, but that's about it.
Yeah, they burnt through it all so quickly. And a hook off the mark there, not going to be able to connect onto a hero.
How about I do this?
23 will heal up under his tower for a little bit. Back into the lane he goes. I've been poking my head into that mid lane and seeing what's going on. Mikoto, 16-3, out farming the Spirit Breaker in these early days.
As expected. Spirit Breaker can't really just go on you and bash you 4 times. Also, I saw Zeus using Heavenly Jump when he's trying to CS, so slowing him down and not allowing him to get the last hits. He did opt to go for bottle on Spirit Breaker, using charge to get some farm and try to harass Zeus. It's not going to be very effective, but this is also a hero that they decided to pick to match this global presence that Talon is bringing.
Yeah, that attack speed slow from Heavenly Jump is really annoying for Spirit Breaker. Every time I see it, it's going to lift the lantern, failing to land it on the creeps. So far, very good for the Zeus, but of course, like you say, we're waiting for that mid-game to come in for C Smile. As Ollie escapes from danger top, gets out of the range from that left rank of Triumph. Down the bottom, looks pretty decent for the Nagasaran so far, not under too much pressure, while Jabs... Would you expect Jabs to have a little more farm here, or is he doing alright?
Sitting at 12 and 7, like, you don't deal well with the Nagasaran and the illusions. This chip damage from Riptide, it's not a lot, but it's mostly about like the sound that Naga makes, I would say, that makes things difficult. I'm not even kidding, where you'll have like all these illusions, like the Riptide gets procced all the time. It deals decent amount of its physical damage, so let's see, Q using that tag team, but let's walk off because...
chip away at him. What's it called? Is it misophonia? When you have an aversion to noises, like you hear someone eating loudly and you cringe, you feel real bad. That's what Nagasaran Riptide does to you, huh?
What if you have a fear of word cringe? What would you call that?
Boomerism?
Could be. Good answer, Gary. Zeus, level 5.5, so as soon as he hits level 6, I do expect them to start to play a bit more aggressive on the side lanes. Top lane, I'm not sure if they can get a kill, but looking at the bottom lane, maybe they can try to isolate Matthew. So far, 0-0, a bit of a slow start to the game. Fudge, very low on HP.
Yeah, they've just been poking at 23. It's not comfortable at all. While the bottom lane, they are having a crack at Matthew and finish him off with his tag team from Q. So finally, Talon up on the board while Panda dies up at top. Dived a little too deep. Did kill off the Pudge, but Ollie able to trade back. A feel-good moment there from EG as they are already pressuring the top tier 1. They have put so much damage onto Ollie, in fact, through this laning stage, that Whisper just trying to get this kill, looking for the finishing blow. Oh, will he find it? The tricks of the trade gets Ollie out of there. Barely escaping with his life, and Whisper with no levels in Lightning Storm can't finish him off.
Needs to go back. Trent Protector's mid, refill the bottle for his Spirit Breaker, and they will get Pakaz with that first usage of the Zeus ulti.
Yeah, very, very well done. Jabs now closing on level 5. Double Wraith Band with his Gloves of Haste. His base attack time, of course, got buffed several patches ago, so he's throwing these punches out very quickly. Nicely paired up with the tag team in that bottom lane. So Talon striking back 3-1. This Pudge lane isn't looking too good, but there are other lanes making sure things are going smoothly. It looks like they saw Matthew going off to ward up that high ground. They had an obs ward there themselves, so they'll know where to remove the vision from EG.
Good start for Talon, I would say. This bottom lane doing really well. He has 20 denies on Nature's Prophet.
I have bunting for you.
He's having a great time now.
They need to enable Pudge. I want to see some stacks being made for him so he can get to his Aghanim Scepter as soon as possible. We haven't seen C-Smile make a rotation yet. Does have Nether Strike available.
They were trying. Gets the move forward onto Ollie. Smoke screen down. One more hit will do the trick for C-Smile and finds the kill. And 2 Observer wards there. Radiant and Dire both placing vision in very similar places. Now Nagasaran just trying to hold her own under a tower down bottom, keep Jabs and Q away from that bottom lane. Matthew going to drag them around as well, while 23 dead again to Whisper. All the way between the tier 1 and 2 top lane.
That's a solo kill. 3 points at Edict. He's going to start to pressure some towers, and now we see the power of
They've got the Zeus ulti. Snowball comes across, and they're going to get the Centaur Stomp from the neutrals to help out, kill C-Smile. Mikoto and Q is going to pummel into the Spirit Breaker. They trade that Pudge out for a couple of kills.
Let it live. This is your buddy.
Oh, that's so easy, actually.
He actually got him in the end. So yeah, very aggressive move from EG. Try to invade the triangle, and Zeus on top of the network does have Thunder Gods available. Picks up double damage, not the rune you want to have on Zeus, but it will do the job. It will replenish the mana.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I want to see how they recover this top lane. Level 5 on the Pudge. Does have his hood, but definitely a lot of room for improvement here as Whisper looking to kill off this tier 1 just 8 minutes in. And with Matthew's rotation, Whisper's damage looking pretty hefty. They need Ollie to come in with a smoke screen, so he can't land the stun. 4 heroes here now for Talon, aiming for Matthew, 2-man split earth, and in comes C-Smile. The charge across, Cloak in there, Whisper dragged in, the snowball, the damage is enough to kill the ledge, but Pudge is falling. Whisper gets the kill from the grave through the Diabolic Edict, and Mikoto, very low on HP, has a fairy fire and the heavenly jump to get away. Q left stranded now though, so another charge in will allow them to finish him off, and the tier 1 at just 61 health will get taken down eventually.
C-Smile will take care of the business. This global presence that they have is matched up by Spirit Breaker's moves. Looks like he doesn't want to kill the tower right now, trying to get a Mikoto. He does have heavenly jump
And
in a second.
Bolt.
Yeah, stops it immediately.
Well done by Matthew to keep tabs on him. Mikoto knew what was coming. Down at bottom lane, Pakaz has been left alone here, so Pudge making the move will kill off all the illusions and maybe line up a hook, but Pakaz not going to fall for any tricks like that.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
This is where the Treant really comes into his own. Can hold out in this bottom lane with his Nature's Grasp and Living Armor. Probably not going to be able to defend the tower, but will delay the death of it for quite some time. And he gets the hook.
Him. No way.
Beautifully lined up by 23. Panda with a Leech Seed trying to buy a bit of space for himself, but the Thunder God's Wrath is there.
23 decided to go for Hood of Defiance, the full one. Like usually we don't see that item unless you're dominating, so you get Hood or Vanguard as your first item. Most of the time it's going to be Vanguard. But considering that the lane didn't go too well, I think going for just a casual cloak or skipping the cloak, getting Ags as fast as possible, then going back for cloak is the way to go. Because right now,
it's going to delay your BKB,
timing,
right?
Yeah, like it's going to delay everything pretty much. Jabs will take care of the business bottom. Tier 1 tower will fall.
Killing that Treant was super important to make sure the tower fell quickly. So getting themselves a tier 1, but yeah, you look at the map, top and mid claimed already by EG, so much more room to maneuver here, especially for a hero like Naga Siren, who really can swarm the map and take control of all that lane pushing. And that gives space to Whisper and C-Smile to both farm backwards a little bit, clear an Ancient stack, and it looks like with the Blitz Knuckles here,
It's going to be Shadow Blade.
For C-Smile, yeah, makes sense. And Ollie going to be the one that's just stuck up top, trying to get what he can. And as you can see, odds coming up on your screen. And you can click the banner down below to head over to Bet Boom and make the most of it.
Because in the middle of the pack, like top 3, Nature's Prophet with one ulti could match it, but considering that he died once, didn't get a single kill, here a charge. C-Smile, solo smoke. This is a difficult kill to get here. And he stops it. The rest of the team is not there.
He's still in Viz.
Thinking about it.
Keeping vision on the Purge. A bash comes. They've got control of the telekinesis. Didn't even get his flash heap off, so they have the damage. While Q, he gets the punch and a massive amount of DPS. Thrown at the C-Smile and Matthew with a charge back in towards the Zeus.
Good Yules.
And there's the snowball dodged by the Yules. You're right. Well done. But with the Thunder God's Wrath to finish off C-Smile, at least something going Talon's way there.
Ooh, 23, not getting that Hood of Defiance, not getting the flash heap. Maybe he could have tried to turn it around, but he also stopped for a brief moment. I thought maybe he was thinking he's not going to be in trouble, but every single time this Pudge dies, it gives them like an upper hand, because Naga Siren, we talked about the matchup, it's a bad one for Naga, especially if Pudge is off to a good start, but he's not. He's sitting at 0, 4, and 3. This Aghanim Scepter, if they kill him one more time, this will be like 18, maybe 20-minute Ags on Pudge.
Yeah, a real challenge for 23. Especially with the limited room they have on the map. Right now, 23 has to farm bottom lane. Top's not safe, top jungle isn't safe, can't really show his face in the mid lane.
Triangle has been farmed. Sometimes your own team makes things more difficult. I think everybody experienced it, where like they take your farm, you play against the Spirit Breaker, one extra hero shows up. Luckily for him, he's not under vision at the moment. And look at the build. He's actually trying to adapt. He wants to hit an earlier timing, going for Blade Mail.
Okay. Well, against the Leshen and Naga, lots of uncontrollable damage does make sense. And I think also the idea here is that they've got Jabs, who has had a good laning stage, has a Maelstrom, so Nature's Prophet is going to be more of a position 1.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't mind that. And you're not going to lack damage. Zeus does have a ton. How's Ricky looking? Ricky?
Well, up at top, Dire Vision sees Whisper and Panda. Even with the Yule Scepter here, you're going to get a little bit of space, but with 100 HP remaining, hits the ground with a thud. And Talon, looking for Panda's Treant, will close the gap on him, sprout him up, and finish the Treant off. So no real response there from EG as they pushed pretty far forward in that top lane.
They need C-Smile to be active on the Spirit Breaker, but for now he seems to be farming his Shadow Blade. Goto, off to a really good start. Like, he has enough money to buy either full Kaya Sanj, but seems like he's going to be waiting for the shard, which is going to be in stock in 30 seconds. So big timing for them, where Ricky does have enough gold to buy it. Same goes for Zeus, and now they're trying to set things up here bottom.
Yeah, TP in the jab, set it up with Ollie and 23 Savage. Get the Dismember onto him, and C-Smile taken down quite quickly. Yeah, Talon all the way across the map without EG noticing. This is where EG, you see Whisper drawing the line saying, I'm going to push out top, force them to defend tier 2, take full control of that northern jungle, and start thinking about mid lane. Now bottom, okay, they're going to kill on Ricky here, but it's not necessarily the place that EG want to be planting themselves and setting up a base camp.
Definitely not. Like, the Naga will be taking care of this bottom lane.
Dodged by the tricks.
Got it.
Very slippy from Matthew. Oh, Panda has the best courier in the game.
It's a good looking one for sure.
Such a beautiful beast. But yeah, what's the move from EG here? Like, they're kind of slowly pushing lanes, they're farming. What's the big item that's going to allow them to win a team fight or take Roshan?
I think they're gonna wait for next set of items. This Orchid on Naga Siren. Spirit Breaker does have Shadow Blade finished, but I think they want to sync up BKB and Orchid on Naga Siren. BKB on Leshrac, that is. And then they can feel much more comfortable coming into a fight, but we'll be going, or at least try to go for the pickoffs. Lift is available.
So much chain disable. They charge with a couple of bashes, Nether Strike and Telekinesis.
That damage from Zeus.
Yeah, 2 heroes surviving on about 100 health, while 23 dismembering away at Pakaz. And again, this bottom lane just is not a safe place to be. Really feels like the Naga Siren should be up in that top left-hand corner of the map, but yeah, sticking it out bottom, paying the price.
Molly getting charged. Doesn't use tricks of the trade. Sleeping Dart.
Radiant's bottom tower
It's a good
is under
setup for a hook. But you talked about the scaling. Jabs did finish off his Gleipnir, so he's more of a position 1 in this game until Pudge starts to get some of his items. Blade Mail has been finished, now going into Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, recovering decently after that very poor laning stage start. C-Smile, after his Shadow Blade, hasn't really developed his item build yet. Sat just under 7k net worth from the mid lane. Quite a far cry from the Zeus's 8500. Curious to see where the Spirit Breaker goes, whether it is the Aghanims or the BKB, which we discussed earlier on. It's just a matter of finding the gold to buy those items, which is the struggle for now.
Be active on the mid Spirit Breaker, but seems like the game kind of slowed down. Now you have this Gleipnir that can stop your charge. You have Ricky as well with tricks of the trade, can't dodge it. Then you have Sleeping Dart as well. So things are getting more difficult for Spirit Breaker. Definitely needs that BKB to be able to complete his charge.
It's going to take quite some time. Right now he's a bodyguard. Kill off the Treants, try and keep them away from the ancient area. On Talon. Snowball on into mid to kill the Rubik, and a sleeping dart there finding Treant. While C-Smile, he charges in, catches two with the bash and Pakaz. Riptide shredding through jabs,
Those
but they don't
illusions
have
die
the
so
finishing
quickly.
touch. The Ricky tricks the trays, surviving, and the song comes, but too late. The Zeus got the damage into the Spirit Breaker as Pakaz and Whisper, they dodge the hook. Split Earth dodged by the Snowball though, and they turn on the lash quickly while Talon, just so much raw damage and potency here to take down EG. 3 gone, and no casualties from the Dire side whatsoever.
You see these illusions from Nagasiren. It looked really good when he used the split and the Manta style, but they disappeared so quickly. Zeus used Chain Lightning 3 or 4 times, they immediately die. Pudge was not even there. Imagine Pudge being there with the rod. So now 4K gold lead for Talon. I'm really worried for EG. Like, we talked about the matchup against the Nagasiren, this Pudge, and 23 Savage did manage to catch up. He's almost as farmed as Nagasiren, which is pretty impressive considering how top lane went. Like, he died multiple times. They took out his tower early on.
Yeah, it just really feels like the areas on the map that EG were trying to force fights were disadvantageous for themselves. The bottom right-hand corner where Pudge is just naturally farming a creep camp and a creep wave. He's comfortable there. EG maybe a little more focus up on top lane would have been nice for them.
EG also decided to take a fight. Leshrac was missing
C-Smile?
100 gold for his BKB. They're gonna take out C-Smile, but most of the time when you see Spirit Breaker being taken out, you're like, yeah, you know what, it's just a position 4 die, but this is a mid Spirit Breaker.
Yeah. And he charges in, under vision. Darted, bolted, blasted, and down bottom 23 going to dismember up and eat the very tasty vegan Treant there, but he's got the backup of Whisper and Matthew. Connecting with the stuns, the Snowball save though. Q, he comes in and buys time for 23 to run away, gets the punch out, the Thunder goes wrap, finishes off Whisper, the hook will miss, but Jab's now TPing in to kill off Matthew's Rubik. Talon. Every time somebody gets gone on, every time there's a Treant or a Spirit Breaker charging and hunting from the tree lines, they've got the response.
Sometimes you forget, like even professional e-gamers, they do forget about the damage that can come out from this Zeus ulti. One Zeus ulti, one Breath of Nature, everyone's down to half HP. Charge.
Cancelled
He's
again.
gonna stop it.
Bolt into Dart. And a Snowball back in. C-Smart just not having a game. Shadowblade has not paid off for him. Talon outplaying EG every step of the way. Really shown here with a 7k lead they've built up for themselves. And I don't know, usually against the Nagasiren, I guess you've been talking about the Zeus and the Purge able to clear out the illusions, but I feel like Pakaz very often has control over 60% of the map. He's just been sat on his side of the river defensively farming. You don't
He's
have
not
that
getting
map
anything, across the river, definitely not getting the farm. And his next item, I see a Mage Slayer. This is not gonna tank you up as much. Like, it's a difficult matchup. You're playing into Pudge, you're playing into Zeus, so maybe if he thinks that he needs to like isolate one hero and kill it to get this silence off on a Zeus. But Zeus is going for Lincoln Spheres. He does not want to get charged, he does not want to get lifted, nor silenced by this Nagasiren. So good itemization from Mikoto, not the usual one. Like looks like a grief maybe to some people, like yeah, what is this Lincoln's for? Still gives you a decent stat top lane.
Yeah, they've got this Orchid on to 23. Panda thinking about the overgrowth, and he has to use it because in comes Jabs with his BKB up. They're not going to lose the Purge, and they'll get 2 kills. Huge victory again for Talon. So much, immediate response time.
They needed extra heroes. C-Smile needs to be there with the Spirit Breaker. Bit of an interesting build on Spirit Breaker.
Well, fast
2
kills from
points in
Whisper,
charge.
but Gleipnir, Sleeping Dart, the control on him with a Walrus Punch through the BKB, and the physical damage comes from Jabs. The carry, the real carry has arrived. Nature's Prophet, full control of this game as they move into Roshan now.
EG, they cannot take this fight. This game looks very, very difficult. They like looking at the comeback tools, how they can come back into the game if they're sieging the high ground. There's nothing compared to what Talon had in the previous game when they were like 15, even 20k gold down. This Nagasiren, she's not going to be able to carry this game. It's very difficult. We mentioned Gleipnir build on Nature's Prophet. He's the one holding the Aegis. Pudge does have Aghanim Scepter, so that extra damage, extra AoE, extra healing reduction against the Treant Protector.
Radiant's top tower
Mentioned
is under
potentially a
attack.
Bloodstone on Lashrak, but considering that he's playing into Pudge with Ags, it's just not going to be that build anymore. So
Yeah, especially when Naga's behind. And it's not just like she's behind one carry hero. She's very shortly she's going to be behind 3 carry heroes in Talon. Pudge is more than caught up now. He's going to overtake the Naga Siren in a few seconds. And he's going to have Eternal Shroud as well. Very nearly has it completed. Pakar's running away from that Bane. Can't even push into the tier 1 because Q and Jabs are there to defend it. This feels like where EG have got to start thinking about their smoke options. How do we find the
I
element of
thought you were going to
surprise?
say game 3, but these are best of 2s. Let's see if they can get a pick-off. Problem is with Spirit Breaker, like you want to split out the map, you want to go for the pick-offs, but one Zeus ulti, one TP from Nature's Prophet. If Ricky's there, he can like see you, he can stop it and dart into hook combo.
It's just so beautifully done. Every part of that was gorgeous from Talon. They also get Pakars over in that bottom jungle. I was watching the Ricky, they pop the smoke on him and he walks near the staircase to try and see, does a smoke break here, walks around, does smoke break here. Then he jumps up with the tricks of the trade with the Dire Observer Ward on the high ground. They keep their vision on them, find the opening they needed. And at the same time, killing that Naga with just a couple of heroes on the other side of the map.
This is going to be the second tier 2 tower. EG doesn't seem to be in a mood to defend it, or never mind, Panda blink again. Root only on 1.
Overgrip is on the Zeus, but he gets out there with his illusion rune. The Zeus going to get telekinesis up, but Jabs is just opening up onto these heroes. The Yule's up from Whisper allows the Pulse Nova to kill off the Nature's Prophet, but they've already lost the Spirit Breaker, the Treant, the Lashrak about to fall, a triple kill for Jabs, he looks for more. 23 dominating, and this game looks like it might be over.
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
No way for EG to fight.
I would not be surprised at all if EG just calls it here. They don't have what it takes to punch back. Like in terms of damage, Nature's Prophet did 3.3k. Zeus didn't even have ulti in the previous fight, and now off to a high ground they go.
Heck, left forced out. Don't think they're stopping though. Very comfortable with the state of the game right now. Easily clear out the creep waves. Living Armor's going to slow it down a touch, but Jabs with a fully completed Assault Cuirass at this point makes things very
Stole
simple.
the hook, alright. This is it. This is the comeback.
This is it. Gets Jabs, drags him back. Telekinesis up, but he's got BKB if he needs it. C-Smile does connect onto the Tusk, so no play there for him. Well, Yule's from the Lash. It does allow him to get the damage out with the Pulse Nova, but when he lands, he disappears. Now Picasso's turn with a Song of the Siren. Gets the sleep onto a bunch of them, but then gets slept himself. The Sandman comes, and it's Ollie hiding from the Invis in this Ricky form as Spirit Breaker and Panda that charged in towards the Gleipnir of Jab. Held in place, rooted up, illusion sent forward, but that's it. Lights out. 3 heroes dead again, and the barracks wide open. GG called, they know they've got no answers. Series over and another 1-1.
Good execution from Talon in the second game. They didn't have much farm on 23, but the rest of the team did play extremely good. Mikoto, I think he ended up the game with actually 0 deaths. Yeah, 8, 0, and 15. Jabs 11, 0, 14. So 2 cores that didn't die at all on side of Talon. Jabs was the real carry, pretty much. As you said, in this game, Pudge did struggle. I mean, there's no surprise. You pair him up with Ricky. This is not a strong lane playing into Treant and Lashrak. They're not supposed to win this lane. But with the moves around the map, they did manage to find some farm on him. And I like the itemization on his side, getting that Blade Mail instead of going for the Aghanim Scepter, just tanking up and Jabs taking over that carry role. Naga, it's just they didn't pick him to pick this Pudge for the lane, they pick it for the game, and it worked out really well.